Hi, this is Sarah from sarayip.com, Facebook, The Numbers Queen, and Instagram, sarayip1111. And I am with Lawrence from IICT. Lawrence, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
How would you describe yourself?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'd say I'm my primary function on the planet is really about connecting and bringing people together. Yeah, like that's really about it. And I find also like with my work, it's all about connecting therapists and healers and like-minded people so they can all do what they do better as well. So yeah, big journey around contribution and connection. They're probably the two main pillars that I experience in my life.
And it's interesting. I mean, we can see the logo for IICT behind us, and it looks a little bit Olympic, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's one we don't do externally. We have those colors internally because it represents our four key values.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the idea of those intellect. Yeah, it's a little bit like the Olympics, I suppose. It's like bringing together the different aspects and it's all joined under a, unified thing. And, we're doing stuff that's on a global level. So yeah, it's represents what we do, I think, very well.
Well, I really love, ICT, I've been in there for a long time. And so if we had to explain it, I mean, it's basically like an association for therapists. Is that right? And healers, and it's international at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically for people who do like our ideal customer is really someone who does multiple occupations, and instead of having to go to individual associations for those modalities, IICT is a one-stop shop, so it provides professional affiliation for all the different occupations, and then there's also a insurance policy that covers them for all the different things that they need as well. So professional indemnity, public liability. So yeah, it's recognition and access to, affordable insurance, which helps those practitioners have the peace of mind to do what they do best. And, they also get that professional recognition, which helps their customers say, oh, okay, they're with that body. Okay, they must be at a good standard. Yeah.
Yeah, so in practical terms, basically, if you're able to sort of, fulfill all the criteria, you can put it on your website, you can put it on your business card. And I feel like for me, it definitely gives me a bit of assurance when I'm looking for people, but also, it's a certain type of person who will support their industry, not just themselves. I think it shows a level of altruism and like holistic thinking. And I guess the other thing that I quite like, I mean, obviously the insurance thing is essential because if you want to do an expo, an event, hire a room and you want to do it legit, you actually need insurance. And a lot of people, for example, they won't insure psychics. Like I really had to shop around for that. And actually I asked a lot of my mentors and teachers and they're like, oh, we don't do that. And I thought, but it's just that one time, right? And I've had people, threaten to sue me and silly things like that. And I mean, having come from a government and science background, for me, I really wanted to have everything ticked. And I want to be working with people who do the right thing and have that ethics and they're really transparent in their business. So I really appreciate the fact that you found a way to cover tarot readers and numerologists and palm readers. I mean, almost like a miracle, really, that you organized that.
Yeah, that was really tricky, actually, because, if you're looking at the world of insurance, they're like, okay, is the person qualified? And show me the certificate. And, if you're a clairvoyant or a psychic, you don't get a certificate, right? Like you might do someone's training or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, we had to be very fit inside their box, like find a way to do it that would make sense. So yeah, but we're able to do that. So like, because it's not something, I think for the most part, it's something that you are born with and it's your life path, and it's nurtured obviously through practice and whatnot, but it's not like you go and I'm going to psychic school or whatever. It's like, it's something.
Well, I actually, I run a few groups and then it's becoming increasingly a qualified type profession, but for sure people can just actually, set up shop and do it.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, it's not even just about the criteria and belonging. I mean, you have to be sort of proud of what you do and pretty brave to even have your face out there, your name, your website. It takes a certain level of confidence and energy. So yeah, I wanted to also ask you, do you have any sort of real success stories that you've come across where people have found your organization and then I guess been able to believe in themselves more? I mean, you're an example, I suppose.
Yeah, look, we get people like probably every week we get some email or some call going, "Oh my God, I wish I knew about you guys sooner," because they've just been, going round in circles trying to, get cover or, get affiliation for what they do. So we kind of, we take the orphans, we take the strange and unusual, and, the
Yeah,
outliers.
the weird Barbies.
The weird Barbies, yeah. So, and obviously we have all the mainstream occupations and modalities that people would know, like most mainstream people would know. But yeah, we
Yeah.
sort of work on the fringe of all that too a bit as well. So, but yeah, I think the main goal for the our body is really just to raise the standards across the board worldwide, but also to create a level of inclusiveness so that people have a sense of belonging when they're part of that
Yeah.
community, and yeah, helping them do their job better as well, like giving them access to resources so they can do things, know how to market and run their business well. Because
Yeah, that's the massive one. A lot of people have the skills and then they just never get past a certain level.
yeah, and that's about just like knowing some basic tools on how to, just function, run a business. Like a lot of people who are called to healing work or spiritual work and whatnot are very, kinesthetic types. They're very feeling based,
Yep.
emotion
In
based.
person. I need to touch and feel it. I don't believe in it. I need to prove myself. I need to show up.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like I guess, not that COVID was a good thing, but I guess one of the positives that came out of that whole thing is like it forced people to get really clear about their offering, and they had to like pivot to a lot of stuff online. So in a way, I feel like it propelled people to go into being able to be more in a digital space when they're very much face to face, one to one. Yeah, so I mean a lot of those things emerged out of that, and it's sort of become normal, like like we're doing a Zoom here.
Yeah.
Normally it'd be like, hey, we'll catch up and meet in person, have a cup of
Yeah.
coffee. So yeah, it's interesting like what's evolving, and how people are more comfortable utilizing technology to do their work as well. So yeah, it's an ever evolving space, which is pretty cool to see.
So you're a master 33 in numerology.
Mhm.
That's from the sum of your date of birth. And I work with lots of people like that. And that's, the whistleblower, the big mouth, the master healer. I mean, what happened to you around 33? Like, do you recall any sort of turning points for you, wake up calls?
As in age 33?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, I used to run a Reiki school, so that was sort of, I guess it had hit its peak at that point. Like we had like I was teaching thousands of people and flying around the world, running workshops, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, I was doing a lot of inner work, I guess, spirituality type work as well, and taking initiations and doing a number of things. So, I mean, my whole when I first sort of got into spirituality in a serious way was when I was 11 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
I
The
started
Harry Potter age, very good.
Harry Potter age, yes, as learned meditation and started doing all that stuff. And then, yeah, probably around age 21, 22. So
Yeah.
again, these are the master
I
numbers.
love that. That's cool.
That's when I was like, okay, I'm doing this full time. And, I was just, yeah, right into all of that and studying, shamanism, Japanese healing systems, different Japanese martial arts. Yeah, what else was I doing? A lot of work in Tibetan Buddhism and all that as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely those foundations are being laid really early on. And I was super lucky to have some excellent mentors and teachers and
Mhm.
guides, which I really needed it, because I'm definitely a bit of a cosmic space wombat, like I'm,
I
I'm
love that.
someone who helped ground me, because I'm very much like in the ethers, and
Super galactic. Yeah.
yeah,
Can really
intergalactic.
feel that.
Intergalactically, yeah.
When I was doing your numerology chart, which we discussed just before this, yeah, as soon as I started to write your name,
Yeah.
like 25 pairs of eyes just went like this, and I went, "Oh, not entirely human."
Yeah.
But the very best type of space person, and
Yeah.
yeah, and just I think from our pre-chat, you did say something like your son was born just after your turning point as well.
Yeah, as well.
A
Yeah. So
huge one, isn't it? And
yeah.
so, I'm curious. I mean, a lot of the therapists I've met wish they had gone into it earlier, wish they hadn't been shut down as children. I mean, is there anything with IICT and working with families or kids or younger people? I mean, a lot of the new children are showing abilities by their teens. like they're opening businesses, they're running channels. I'm just curious about that, that's all.
Yeah, well, look, I guess a lot of our people, like we're definitely seeing a younger demographic come
Yeah.
through in terms of customers of ours. It's definitely that's the case. But of course, yeah, for us to like bring someone in, obviously they've got to go do their course and their training and be certified and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely yeah, I guess we've got your sort of middle-aged type, mostly women running workshops and courses and stuff like that. And we're seeing a much younger crew come through now, which is great. And like in terms of our like internal staff, like we've got a lot of younger people on the phones and doing the admin side of the business as well. So like we're sourcing talent from all over the world and but yeah, like one of our core values is fun.
Yeah.
And so we have
My
like
last reading was about fun this morning, which was just before we talked. So I feel like I was tuning in. But yeah.
So yeah, we just have a lot of fun with what our work. So it doesn't really feel like work. It's more like, playing with, the energy, playing with how we work and bringing that lightness and that levity. So yeah, like it just, I think things flow better when there's that spirit of fun in the room.
Yeah, well, I have a saying, and this is in my World Changes Leadership program, your sense of humor is your sense of human.
Yeah.
I'm always deeply concerned when I'm loving this, but I'm not sure if you know the time. Oh, it's 11:11. But anyway, yes, like spiritual people who take themselves too seriously, it's really like, I really detest that. I just think it's probably from being in church or like all the random cults I used to join. And I just found that was always the sign. That was like the red flag for me. When they couldn't handle a joke, they couldn't handle any, feedback. I love the fact that, like, when I tuned into your energy, I literally saw like a Cupid's, is it Cupid?
Yeah.
Love, shooting the little love heart. And I went, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like I was just on a men's initiation retreat last weekend. It was like 100 guys out in the bush and
wow,
doing spoke very powerful stuff. And we're doing some somatic process work with a group of guys. And the guy who was leading it, he's about mid-70s, so really old bloke. It looks like he sort of lives in like a caravan park, like a retired person. But he just used like the best level of humor, even though people are like doing gut-wrenching, deep trauma type work.
Yeah.
You always inject like these little things of humor just to break it up. And that would lead that person into a deeper sense of safety, vulnerability.
Opens the heart. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was just masterful at that. So I just think, there's so much to be said for the right dose of humor at the right time can just break open people. And I agree. Yeah. Like I've met a lot of people in this realm that take themselves a little bit too seriously. They might be a bit too holy. And it's
Don't touch my vials.
yeah, and it's like, you got to be able to laugh at yourself, and it's a huge cosmic joke. Yeah. And
100%. You've just reminded me of something. So recently I had a really beautiful like healing with my dad, and ever since then I have had men coming in as clients and students, which has never happened in my business in 15 years. And literally every day they're booking in. I wanted to ask you, I mean, what do you think? What is it like to be a male therapist in a female dominated industry?
Yeah, well, I think for one, I think if I didn't have that level of empathy and that sort of soft side, that intuitive side, emotional aspect to my personality, I probably wouldn't be in it. Like it would just be like, oh, this is too, whimsical or whatever it is, Yeah. So I think, it depends on the person. But yeah, I don't know. I have a huge admiration for the feminine, for women. I just think, incredible and super complex, and like it's learned so much from that, and I've got like my daughter, she's 4 years old. She's a Piscean and she's super like emotion, but so deep and intuitive as well. So for me, it's like such a great teacher. I'm on just like deep bow to the feminine. It's just amazing. So yeah, I mean, I learned a lot about myself through that. Obviously, it's great.
I know we're winding up, but I'm curious, where did you get so passionate about helping witches, basically? I mean, was it because you yourself feel like you might have been persecuted, or you saw someone, being discriminated against? Because you've really gone next level. I mean, don't you have like, what is it, 10,000 members? You have a lot of members, don't you?
Yeah, about 10,600 or something now, something
Yeah,
like that.
and so like where did you get so passionate? Do you feel like it's past life, or like I said, did you see something in childhood? I mean, where did this drive come from? Because most people sit on the couch, you know, they're happy to just kind of do it for themselves or maybe like their local community, but you've really been like, oh, I'm not going to stop till I touch a lot more lives.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's past karmic contracts or something like that. Like I was born like this, like that's just how this machinery works. It wasn't like a decision. I just always
Yeah.
felt like I had some big thing to do in the world. And yeah, I don't feel like I'm slowing down either. It just feels like it's getting more and more ramped up. So
Super
yeah,
interesting.
watch this space.
Yeah, well, thanks. And it's interesting you touched the chakra, which is to do with past life when you talked about that. So I
Oh,
feel
did
like your
I?
body was like, I know. So
Yeah.
yeah, so how can people get involved with your organization? And yeah, just let me know, and I'll put some things below my replay as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, probably the first protocol would just be visit the website. So it's myiict.com.
Hmm.
And yeah, then, everything's on the website really.
Yeah,
And or that, anyone can give our numbers at the top. Like we actually like getting calls and having those conversations and
you
communication.
like people. Surprise, different to most companies.
Well, that's it. Most companies want to automate and, not have any human interaction and just
Mm,
everything's online. But actually, we're kind of like, we still want to have those connections and conversations with our practitioners, healers, just to get to know who they are and
mm.
how we can serve them best as well. So, yeah, so myiict.com is the website. And yeah, you'll have a link down there anyway. And yeah, that's probably the first place to go. And yeah, we've got like, explainer videos and
Oh yes, no, you're very organized. I just have one more little question lurking in my mind, and it's partly because of a lot of my world changes and Patreon members. What
yeah.
would you say to someone who's afraid to charge for their gifts, or they feel like they're going to be criticized? I mean, you must come across this all the time, but yeah, what would you say to those people? Because I mean, I've met thousands of them in my life, and they're like, I wish I could do what you do. I just I'm not brave enough. I could never do that. What's your advice?
Yeah, well, like if you're offering value, then it's important to charge the appropriate price for reciprocity because you're actually
Yeah.
doing that person an injustice by not charging and you're creating a
Mhm.
karmic debt to them.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So I would say that you're obligated to give the appropriate fee for your services. And look, money's the tool that we use in this world primarily, right? It might be other ways you can do it, but yeah, I find that if there's if you're coming from the right place and it's
Yeah.
with sincerity, then there's totally nothing wrong with that. I think, yeah, just jump in and do it because it's like the marketplace will respond. Yeah. And if your offering isn't quite right, then you'll get that feedback. And if it's right, you'll get that feedback. But nothing's going to happen if you sit on your couch and not do anything. Yeah. So just jump in.
Well, you'll get regret. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I,
I
I
really appreciate
yeah.
your very gentle, positive, but assertive way of communicating about that.
Yeah.
I could really feel that actually, and I really love that. And you really walk the talk. So I honor what you've shared with us today. And hopefully we'll have some more chats.
Yeah.
And thanks so much for the opportunity to connect. And I'm really looking forward to introducing more of my people to more of your people.
Yeah. Sure. That's what it's about, right? It's all
And
about
I wanted to
connection
ask,
and
do you ever see 1111?
oh, look everywhere. It's all the time. And everyone in the office are always like, screenshotting like their phone. Oh, it's 11:11. Like, yeah. So we've got a bunch of funky spiritual people
I
working.
may need to come and visit and do some numerology chit chatting.
Yeah, they'd
That
love
sounds
it.
awesome.
They're
Okay, well,
fun.
thank you so much, Lawrence. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And I hope that you will connect with Lawrence and his team. I've certainly found it to be an incredibly positive experience and really different to a lot of the other organizations in the New Age industry, really heartfelt. So thank you so much. I'll close up for now.
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay, bye.